Hello everybody, John Fulford here. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I have 7 inconvenient truths about the music licensing business. If you know these concepts, you'll be in a better position to earn money with your music in the music licensing business. Cool Chords Volume 1, link in the description. My sound pack, it's free. I don't charge for it. It's royalty free, so use it in whatever you want. Go for it. It's audio, it's MIDI, it's for you. Okay, let's get into it. Number 1, syncs and placements are different. Check out these 2 sentences. I had 10 placements in last night's episode of Swamp Loggers. I had a sync in the new movie coming out on Friday. Right? I had 5 placements in the new reality competition show on some reality show network. Or I had a sync last night on Cop Watch on NBC. Okay? The term placements is generally reserved for a more commodified piece of music. Okay? Reality shows that use 100 cues in an episode. Okay? The term sync is generally used more for, I don't want to say custom, but more thought out placements, right? The term sync is one echelon above placement. So if you're at a music conference and you tell someone, oh, I got 15 placements last week, that's a lot different than saying, I got 15 syncs last week. If you say 15 syncs last week, they're going to say, wow, how come I haven't heard of you? They're going to think that you had 15 syncs on network TV shows, the new Netflix, series, a film. Those are syncs. Placements, again, are reserved for more commodified placements, like on reality shows, things like that. Did I make that up? No. Is it a cut and dry definition? No, but that's how the terms are used by industry professionals. Some people might feel different. Some people might, in their heart, use the terms differently. But generally speaking, that's how the terms are used. If you go into a meeting saying, oh, I had 20 syncs on one show last week, they're going to think you had like vocal songs in the show, like big placements. So a sync is a version of a placement that's bigger than just a normal placement. I don't know if that makes sense, but it should make sense. It makes sense up here and in my experience. Number 2, clout is king. Clout is king, clout is queen. Don't assume clout's gender, please. Clout is king, okay? What does that mean? If I send an E minor chord to a trailer supervisor, they're going to say, what is this? It's an E minor chord. If Trent Reznor sends an E minor chord, just a pad playing E minor to a trailer music supervisor, oh, this is a breathtaking piece of art from Trent Reznor. You see what I'm saying? Clout is king. Clout comes from exposure and experience, okay? So most times when I lose out on a gig or a placement and I'm neck and neck with the other person just has more clout. The other person played bass in a band that played Coachella 8 years ago or something like that. So clout is king. You could use that to your advantage if you go out and make clout. Not chase clout, make clout. That's why I tell people ask me, how do you get more placements or more syncs? I say, well, go paint a mural somewhere. Go direct an orchestra of like children or something cool, something to get your name out there in blogs, in the newspapers, so you could get more clout. So when you're submitting your music, you could say, oh, I just got off of tour. I was touring with an orchestra. Here's my music. Or I played bass in some band at Coachella. Here's my music. You see what I'm saying? Clout is king, clout is queen. 3, the production music industry, the sync licensing, music licensing industry are trend chasers. Okay, so check this out. Trends come out. Hollywood, entertainment business, chases those trends. Back when stocks were the hot thing, back in the year 2000, I remember this. I was just getting into college. When everybody was talking about stocks and this and that, the tech bubble, you had all these new shows coming out about stocks, stockbrokers. Oh my God. But by the time those shows came out, stocks were already down and no one watched those shows because they were mad because they were losing money in the stock market. But when those shows were being produced, everybody was talking about stocks, right? Something similar to crypto. There's been a lot of new content lately, professionally produced, about the crypto business. Hollywood, by nature, is trend chasing, okay? Do you think there'd be all these Gulf War movies if the Gulf War didn't occur? War I and War II? You see what I'm saying? Hollywood traces trends. Chases trends. They chase what's hot and they make entertainment out of it, right? The production music business chases Hollywood, who chases trends. What do I mean by that? Remember all those releases by those libraries? Stranger Synths. Oh my God. Stranger Synths, when they had the red font, because Stranger Things was kind of capitalizing on an 80s nostalgia tip, just like the Karate Kid reboot, right? Stranger Things, Karate Kid, probably more things that I can't think of right now. Then all the libraries started chasing that. There were some libraries, you'd have 2 or 3 libraries putting out an album called Stranger Synths. So people independently in meeting rooms around Hollywood and around the world were saying, let's make an album called Stranger Synths. Because it's 80s synths like Stranger Things. How are those albums doing now? Probably not good. COVID. You know how many playlists I saw in 2020? COVID virus playlist for your news show. And then in 6 months it'll be something else, So production music chases people who chase trends, and if you get ahead of that, you can make music and anticipate what libraries need. Like I was saying, foreign language. Now the new thing is African language, Afrobeat, which is kind of a catch-all term actually, and more African-centric music. When I'm talking to a network and I'm telling them about African music, one network said, oh, we're doing a documentary on that exact genre of music right now. How did you know that? I said, well, because I see what's bubbling. Oh, and you're doing a documentary on that style of music? Well, here's an album of that style of music created in Africa, which you could use in your documentary. See how that works? Number 4, flakes are not fake, but they are flakes. Flakes are flakes. This is a hard lesson that I always have to learn and relearn. I've never learned it the easy way. I've learned it the hard way, okay? If you meet people and they flake on you once, treat them kindly, treat them with respect, how you doing, but know they're flakes, okay? They're probably never going to succeed. It's just the way it is. I want you to succeed, so that's why I'm telling you this. Flakes are going to flake. One guy, Stephen Pressfield, I think is his name. He wrote The War of Art, an often quoted book by the Flakes, right? Have you read The War of Art? No, I was too busy working, okay? This one dude was a flake, and then he turned his life around and he wrote King Kong Lives, the film, which was the first movie I ever saw in the theater in my life, by the way. I remember the scene with the big artificial heart coming in. I was very young. And then he wrote what became The Legend of Bagger Vance, the Will Smith film. But this guy was a flake for years. And something happened in his mind, creativity, and he stopped becoming a flake and became the opposite of a flake. Now he's a prolific writer. He's on the Joe Rogan Experience. So his name is out there, okay? But a lot of flakes like to quote that guy's book. Oh, we have to go home and read The War of Art. No, go home and work. Do some music and stop talking about it. See? Flakes are going to be flakes. One guy bucked the trend. So unless your name is Stephen Pressfield and you're a flake, you're going to be a flake. How did that affect my life? Is because I will give people 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 chances to prove they're not a flake, and then I get mad at them for flaking on me a dozen times when they just sort of flaked on me once, and it would have been cool. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you, man. Yeah, we'll work someday, right? Yeah. And instead of saying, oh, you want to work? Here's all the gigs I have lined up for myself. Which ones do you want to work on together? And then when they flake, I'm surprised, which I shouldn't have been. So I have to keep learning and relearning that lesson. So I hope you learn it quicker than I did, because I still haven't learned it. Number 5, LA living is needed at first to get your career off the ground. What do I mean by that? You might be saying to yourself, well, I don't live in LA and I'm making a good part-time living with sync licensing. You're making a lot more if you lived in LA. Okay, that's just the way it is. Now, if you're already making $100,000 a year sync licensing, or 70,000 or whatever, and you don't want to move to LA, hey, get your 70,000, get your 100,000. But some of y'all want to make as much money as you possibly can. And for that, you need to go to LA. You need to go to the grocery store. I'll tell you, you need to meet the big money music supervisor twice at some networking event. And then you need to see him at the grocery store and say, hey, what's up, man? Good to see you. And then leave. And I'm speaking from experience, he knows that you're in the community. You need to go and see the big money music supervisor, the Emmy Award winner at the bank. And you see her, you don't walk up to her and start trying to sell yourself. Oh, good to see you. Have a good weekend. And they know subconsciously that you're in the community. If you're just flying in for music conferences, you're flying in for music conferences to do what? To sell your music to these people. They see you as a salesperson. They don't really see you in the community as much. That was a beep. What is that? Oh, I hope everything's still working. I think I just got an email. Or an Airbnb booking. I hope it's an Airbnb booking, actually. I love getting those. So you need to be in the community. Once you're in the community, all of a sudden, they start approaching you, asking you for music. What do you have? Or, here's what I need in 6 months. Email me in 6 months with any music that fits these guidelines. You're in the community. You could still do that if you live out of state, but if you're young and you're able and you have the opportunity to move and sleep on a floor or some one-bedroom shitbox with a bunch of roommates in LA, do it. Go ahead and do it. If you're not able to, it is what it is, but just know that it's better if you were in LA at least for a few years, even now post-COVID with all the work-from-home Zoom vibes, Number 6, ebooks and courses are extracurricular. What does that mean? Ebooks and courses are extracurricular. You're not working if you're doing courses and ebooks. That doesn't count towards work. It's informative, it's interesting, like this right here, it's good, watch it, do your ebooks, do your courses. I don't recommend any ebooks, I don't recommend any courses. If you find one that's being marketed to you that you like and enjoy, go ahead. I know Dean, the Chainsaw Crapane's book, Demystifying the Cue. I never read it, but I work with Dean all the time. He's working on some stuff for us right now, so take that for what it's worth. But they're extracurricular. That doesn't count towards work. That's extra. So if you read a book for 2 hours or do your ebook or do a course for 2 hours, you still gotta write music for a few hours a day. That doesn't replace your music writing time. Okay, number 7. Music first. This actually might be the most important one. Music first. What does that mean? I get emails all the time. Hey, my name's Frank. I went to the conservatory of whatever. I have my degree in music, yada, yada. One guy, he had a PhD in music, something. Where is the music? I need to hear your music. Then if I like it, or if I really don't like it, then I look at where you went to school and all that stuff. Okay? One guy I know in Florida pulled up to, I was having a party, he pulls up to my house in a shitbox. This is the worst car I've ever seen in my life. I go, hey man, how you doing? I go, what do you do? He goes, oh, I do music. I go, ooh. I go, really? He's like, yeah, I went to this school. This is the truth. I went to this school, I went to that school, I got my PhD in music. Whoa. I said, whoa, can I hear some of it? He's like, yeah. And then I played it, and it was among the worst music I've ever heard. And if you know me personally, and like you see me in person, I will try to pull up this dude's music, and I'm not going to put him on blast. He's a nice guy. But I'm like, damn, what did you learn at school? He went to music school for decades. And then he's asking me, how do I get a job in Hollywood? Ooh, I don't know, man. So music first. If I would, the point is, I'm not just hating on the guy to hate on him. If he would have sent me his resume and I would have went by his pedigree, I mean, the pedigree was aces, but his music was not good. I mean, he could probably tell you what's the fifth harmonic minor of Mixolydian flat 6. Okay, cool. Well, how does that translate into the music that you write? It doesn't. It just sounded like sounds, for lack of a better word, like really weird stuff. That's probably an extreme example, but if you're emailing somebody, hey, my name's this and this, I make this type of music, here's a link. And in the link, you could have all your accolades and stuff like that. Okay? A lot of bad musicians have really good accolades, right? And a lot of great musicians don't have any accolades. So music first, music first, music first. That probably should have been the most important thing. I mean, syncs and placements are different. That point is going to help you at music conferences when you're talking to people, but music first really is the most important thing. If you're emailing A&Rs at these libraries and things like that, you got to hit them with a link. Hit them with a link, hit them with a link. Okay, everybody, you let me know what you think of those points. Let me know in the comments. I'm sure a lot of y'all are going to do some chin wagging and tongue flapping about it, but it is what it is, man. It's just from my career and all of my reality show placements and all my big syncs and stuff like that. That's what I came up with. This is John Fulford. I hope it was informative, and I'll see you next time.